Hi, and welcome to A Drummer's Guide to, the podcast all about the things that it takes to be a professional musician, aside from actually playing your instrument. My name is Emily Dolan Davies. I am a drummer by trade, and I'm here to share my life experience. Now, I've been playing for 25 years, professional for the last 18, I think. So, I'm just hoping that my kind of insight will help you in some way on your journey to being professional, if only just to not feel alone in this mad, mad world. So, today I would like to talk about something that has come up a lot actually recently with people, and they really want me to talk on it. And this is this idea of balancing day-to-day duties or day-to-day life with being creative and growing creatively. And I think that, you know, this is definitely a thing for sure. I think it's great, you know, when you start out playing an instrument, you've got all the time in the world. Like if you've started out when you're young, obviously, you know, you don't have as many responsibilities, like, well, hopefully all things being well, you can really just fall in love with the instrument. I think that's such an important thing, you know, just to do that. But as you grow older, obviously, life happens. We get busy, we have responsibilities, whether that's in work, whether that's with family, all that sort of stuff. And I think, you know, maintaining that ability to be creative is very difficult. It's something that I certainly have not done for a long time. Like for me, it's sort of the work side of stuff became all encompassing. It became all about just getting more work and admin and learning other people's songs and, you know, getting more gigs to then learn more songs that are nothing to do with me as a creative player, if that makes sense. Which I didn't mind, to be honest, because my whole thing is my whole thing with drums is that I've always just wanted to be there to serve people. Arguably, I still feel like that in terms of with my coaching and all of that. I've always just had that mentality. Like for me, I've always been a support person, whether that's with my instrumentation or whether that's as a human. But yeah, so for me, it kind of, how do I put this? My creativity has kind of come second to that, which I don't recommend, to be honest, because once I did actually start leaning into, you know, being creative for myself, it's actually been really awesome and really fun. And it's kind of like opened up a whole nother bunch of doors. But anyway, I just thought that I will talk on this and my kind of take on how I balance the creative stuff with the day-to-day stuff, whether that is admin within work stuff, or whether that is, you know, family life and having a life. Didn't do that for many years. Also did not have a life apart from drums. Would not recommend. I mean, it's great and everything, but you gotta have a balance. It's, you know, life should not be about just one thing, I don't think, personally. So anyway, the first thing that I'd say with being creative, and this is something that I sort of didn't do for a very long time, but started doing maybe 2 years ago, something like that. And that is like actually carving out time from my life to be creative, which probably sounds really counterintuitive actually. Like you shouldn't have to carve out time to be creative. You can't schedule creative time. No, you can't. But if you don't, I don't know about you, but it's like the last thing that I do is be creative because I'm exhausted from doing all the other stuff. And for me, I would notice when the best time for me creatively is. Often it's first thing. That's actually why I'm recording right now, because to me, this podcast is a very creative endeavour, and being able to just talk on subjects and all of that. Like this is all very freeform. I always have a rough idea of the things that I want to hit, but it's very, I don't know whether you've noticed, it's very stream of consciousness. So anyway, I know that for me, first thing is the time to do this for me. So that is my thing, and I'll get it done before. I've got a ton of things that I need to do that are to do with work and admin and mainly my coaching stuff. I will do that after this, and with the energy that I have left in the sort of time frame that I have left and at the speed that I have left available to me, if that makes any sense to you. But anyway, yes, I will kind of like safeguard some time to be creative. And I actually got this idea, and it's difficult that I'm referencing this dude because there's been a bit of there's been some disappointing stuff going around about this guy, which is such a shame. I feel so disappointed about it, but it doesn't change the fact that this is a really useful thing. And I find this is actually very true of writers now that I'm thinking about it, because I think that Stephen King does this, and so does Haruki Murakami. But I got this idea from Neil Gaiman. So basically, his thing is, he has like a writing shed, I think, at the end of his garden. And he sort of says, I have a period of time every day where I go out there to write. And if I'm allowed to not write, but I have to go there. And if I'm not writing, then I'm doing nothing. Like literally, I'm not allowed to check emails. I'm not allowed to, like, all I can do is just sit there and stare into space. But he does this every day. And at a point, he said, it comes that writing is less boring or whatever than just sitting there staring into space. And I think that this is such a great way of doing it, because it's that is your time. That is your time. And if you're not creative in that time, that's fine. But at least you have the time to allow yourself to be creative, because it's very difficult to, like, you need, for me at least, I need space, I need time, and I need silence to be creative, like 100%. And as someone who is constantly, I mean, it's terrible. Well, is it terrible? I don't know. It's just the way that I am. I'm always listening to stuff, and I'm not talking about music, weirdly. Like, I'm always listening to either audiobooks or podcasts, or, you know, or I'm reading. Like, there's always information going in, because I love it. It really, it settles me. It entertains me. I enjoy it. I love learning and growing. So to me, it's I don't know, I just like it. However, sometimes I do just need the silence, and I need that time to be creative, and I have to actually have a word with myself and be like, oi, stop it. Silence, please. And it's sometimes hard. Sometimes it's very confronting to just sit in silence or think about things and just, you know, be actively creative, if that makes sense. For me, that's kind of like doing these episodes and stuff. In terms of behind the drums, again, it's about sitting in here in silence, not playing to music, not playing to a click, literally just silence, and then just play what comes and just see what happens, and no judgment, and just let it flow, see what happens. Interesting things always happen. In fairness, I have not done my free playing for a very long time, which I'm semi-embarrassed about, but actually, am I? No, not really. It's just not. It's not the thing at the moment. For me, it's these episodes, it's doing my coaching. It's just, I'm finding that such a creative, amazing endeavour. But anyway, I think that that's a very interesting idea, and it works for me certainly in terms of just like carving out time, like carving out a regular time to be creative, even though it might sound really counterintuitive. It does. It works. It does work. Because I was doing that with my free playing. It was every day, the first thing I'd do for half an hour, do my free play, and then it's like the creative bit is done, and I know that I've grown creatively, and I might not be able to put my finger on exactly how, but I knew that I had, so that was quite nice. But yeah, and then obviously that can be difficult if you've got a lot of responsibilities and stuff like that. So I guess it's just finding a time and a way to work that into your day. I feel like almost things like meditation are creative in terms of like just being silent for a couple of minutes. Like I do not have a regular meditation practice. I keep trying. I can't fit it in the right place. I'm still trying to find the right place for me. That's what is important to me. It's finding the right place in my schedule, in my day, that can work regularly, that I can maintain. Which I just don't have that yet. I just don't have it, and I will have it at some point, but yeah, it's a work in progress. Which is fine. I'm okay with that. So the second thing that I do to kind of balance these day-to-day creative things is I bring creativity into my day-to-day activities. I try to. And again, for me, what that looks like is things like social media. I find my social media such a creative process. And as soon as I stop feeling like that, I change it up. Maybe that's not good, like maybe that's what all the social media gurus like, no, you need to be consistent in the way that you communicate. Well, maybe. But I need it to have the balance of me feeling fulfilled and feeling like I can creatively do something or grow or be feeling like there's movement forward. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I sort of bring it into my day to day. Maybe you can bring it in with your family, for instance, bring them into the creative process somehow. I don't know what that looks like. I don't have a family. So, well, I mean, I have a family. I have parents and a sister and that. But yeah, I don't have kids or anything like that. So, but I could imagine that could be a fun way to kind of bring it in together. I know people who they have creative time with their spouses who also play an instrument, which is so interesting to me. And they sort of create music and they put it out like just on their social media. Not even like, they don't really record anything. They just perform and they just kind of, yeah, just vibe and jam. And I love that. I think that's so interesting. And then it can also add to social media, which is useful, and it can be part of your like bonding time as well, which is really fun. I really like that. I think it's lovely to be able to bond with someone creatively like that. That seems pretty magical to me. So I think if you can find a way to kind of bring it into your day to day, then yeah, like and have it become part of your life. I'm just trying to think, because like even when I was a kid, I come from a fairly creative family, like, yeah, I do. And we would, I wouldn't say that we necessarily did, no, we did do creative things together, that's not true. But like a lot of my bonding time with my sister when I was growing up was very much creative time. We would be making like stop animation films together. Arguably her ones were better than mine for sure. What else would we do? We'd do like, I mean, still to this day, we will occasionally go to this place called Art for Fun in West Hampstead. We will go and paint plates for people or for ourselves, and where you literally paint a plate and then they fire it and glaze it and that. And my house is full of plates and bowls that I have painted or my family have painted for gifts, or it's hilarious. But it's great, like just being creative together. It's a really nice bonding experience, and it's some of my favorite sort of like memories are doing that sort of stuff. And then there's things like being creative in terms of like bringing creativity into things like exercise. Like, for me, going for a walk, okay, it's not hardcore exercise, but it's my creative time of just like thinking. And me, I love doing things that hit a couple of points in my life at once. I'm a productivity whore. I am, and it is what it is. It's not the best. There are downsides to it, but there are upsides too. So I know that if I go for a walk, I can also be thinking about stuff and just like planning, like, oh, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that, and oh, this is interesting, and just letting those thoughts flow. That happens for me when I walk. So just bringing it into your day-to-day routine and having it alongside other things. They don't need to necessarily be separate activities, I think, personally. And I think that they will help the day-to-day activities. They will enrich them. Maybe not help, that's the wrong word. They will enrich them in a different way. And then conversely, I think that the life stuff, the life stuff is so important. It's so important. Like, it's all good and well. Like, let's say you had 24 hours a day to be creative 7 days a week. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I think, contrast is good. I think it's good. I'm spitting a lot today, I've noticed. I think it's good to have the contrast of the day-to-day stuff and the things that you have to do, if you like, that you might not be too inspired to do, admin-y type things. If that can then build up a want to be creative, and then that coupled with the kind of time that you ring fence off to be creative, I think that you can really create a great momentum between the two things. Like that kind of build up to being able to be creative, you can really like hanker for it if you're doing really mundane stuff that you're like, oh, I really don't want to be doing this, but I have to. Because well, tomorrow or later, I get that period of time, that half an hour even, where I can let loose and I can just let it all out and just let it go. I think that I'm obsessed with this idea of contrast. I think there has to be contrast. The other thing is, like, this is actually more, this is not quite in the same vein, but kind of, in terms of being creative. So if you're creative 24/7, and let's say you go on the road, and all your life is about music, and nothing but music, and being creative. Now this is my personal opinion. I'm sure people will disagree with this. Oh God, how do I say this in not an offensive way? People that only have music in their life, I find it very boring. Only because when I talk to people, I love music. I love it. It's great. Like, it's kind of a given. But the thing that fascinates me more about people, and when I'm on the road with people and hanging out and chatting, and when I tell you the percentage of conversations that I have that I enjoy on tour that are about music, maybe like 2%. But 98% are all the other stuff, the life stuff, the experience stuff, the putting the world to rights, all that other stuff comes from life. And that is so much more interesting to me. And I know people that have been taken off of tours because people are like, oh, I just can't have another conversation about this new band or this new artist or this album, or it's great to have those conversations, don't get me wrong, they're fun, they're interesting, but when you really connect with people on the road, it's very rarely about music, because that's what we're there to do. Like, yeah, we go play on stage, it's great, love it, absolutely love it. Maybe we chat about music, if we hear something interesting, oh, have you seen this, oh cool, have you heard this, oh nice. But the rest of the time, we're talking rubbish, and rubbish comes from life experience and, silly stories and experiences, and like talking about family and, and connecting on that front, and and home life and connecting on the mundane stuff. That's the stuff. Like, that is the stuff. And I think that then, like I say, it's cyclical. I think that then feeds the creativity and the want for creativity. Like, it has to have both. You have to have both. There has to be a balance. And it's just finding that, because I think it would be, what's the word? I think it would be naive to think that you can live a life of pure creativity. And honestly, I think that would be exhausting. Like, and for me, I'd find that really quite, I don't know, not boring, but maybe boring. Exhausting, a bit boring. Can I tell you, one of my favourite things ever in life, it's not sitting here being creative on the drums, or maybe even creative in a social media post, for instance, or even creative on one of these episodes. My favourite thing, like consistently, should we say, is going to Tesco's or going to the grocery store if you're in the States, going to shops and buying food for the week. It's one of my favourite things ever. I love it. Honestly, my favourite thing on tour is going to the supermarkets there and just seeing what's there, seeing what's available. I love it so much, but to some that would seem like the most mundane, boring things. I adore that. And it's not a creative endeavour. It's just intrigue. I'm just intrigued by day-to-day things. I really am. Anyway, I don't know if this has helped you in any way, shape or form in terms of balancing your own sort of day-to-day life with being creative and that. But if it has helped you, if you'd like to share this with anyone, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. And yeah, like, it's a wild world, isn't it? This musician thing, but yeah, there we go. Also, if you want to come onto my Session Musician Accelerator program, please do get in touch. Best place to do that is over on Instagram. If you look up emilydrums.com, I will come up. My name is Emily Dolan Davis. You will see me. I am there. I'm always chatting about stuff. Yeah, just reach out to me, send me a DM, and we can get chatting about that sort of stuff, and if I can help you, how I can help you, yeah, that would be awesome. But anyway, I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, whatever you're up to. What am I about to do? I'm going to go and have a coffee. I think that's what I'm going to do. My stomach is going crazy, so I should probably eat something. But yeah, I will see you next week for another episode. All right, sending you lots of love. Bye.
It's almost done.